Cognitive flow, achieving peak mental states. Hey, have you ever been so locked into something that the world just fades away? Time disappears, distractions vanish, and you're just in the zone. That's cognitive flow. A mental state where you're performing at your absolute peak, and it feels effortless. Whether you're coding, writing, studying, or even playing a sport, flow is that magical moment when everything clicks. Today, we're diving deep into what cognitive flow is, why it's a game changer for productivity and happiness, and, most importantly, how you can achieve it consistently. But here's what's crazy. Most people experience flow by accident, maybe once a month if they're lucky. What if I told you that you could trigger this state almost on command? That top performers in every field from Silicon Valley CEOs to Olympic athletes have specific techniques to enter flow whenever they need peak performance. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll have a complete toolkit to unlock your own flow state and take your performance to the next level. Let's get started. So, what exactly is cognitive flow? Picture this. You're working on a project, and suddenly, you're so absorbed that hours feel like minutes. You're not stressed, not bored, just completely immersed. This is flow, a concept pioneered by psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. Don't worry, I'll put his name on screen. Flow happens when you're fully engaged in a task that's challenging but matches your skill level. It's like surfing a wave. Too big, and you crash. Too small, and you're bored. Flow is that sweet spot where challenge meets capability. But here's where it gets fascinating from a neuroscience perspective. When you're in flow, your brain undergoes what researchers call transient hypofrontality. Parts of your prefrontal cortex that normally create self-doubt and inner criticism actually quiet down. Meanwhile, your brain floods with a cocktail of performance-enhancing chemicals. Dopamine for reward and motivation, endorphins for pleasure, anandamide for creative thinking, and norepinephrine for laser focus. This isn't just feel-good science. Studies show people in flow are up to 500% more productive and report significantly higher life satisfaction. Companies like Google and Microsoft are investing millions into flow research because they know it's the ultimate competitive advantage. Here's the thing though. Flow isn't random. It follows predictable patterns and can be systematically triggered once you understand the mechanics, the science behind flow states. Let's get nerdy for a moment, because understanding the science will help you hack your own flow states. When researchers put people in flow and scan their brains, they see something remarkable happening. First, there's what's called the default mode network, the part of your brain that's usually chattering with self-doubt, worries about the future, and regrets about the past. In flow, this network goes quiet. That's why you stop thinking, am I good enough? Or what if I fail, and just perform? Second, your brain releases what researchers call the flow cocktail. Dopamine makes you feel rewarded and motivated to keep going. Endorphins create pleasure and mask pain or fatigue. Anandamide, yes, that's related to cannabis, enhances lateral thinking and creative connections. And norepinephrine sharpens your focus to a razor's edge. But here's what's really cool. Flow also changes your perception of time. The part of your brain that tracks time, the suprachiasmatic nucleus, gets suppressed. That's why 3 hours can feel like 30 minutes when you're in deep flow. Research from the Flow Research Collective shows that flow increases performance by an average of 280%. In business settings, executives report being 5 times more productive during flow states. Athletes in flow break personal records. Students in flow learn faster and retain more information. The military has been studying flow for decades because soldiers in flow make better decisions under pressure and have faster reaction times. Even surgeons report that their best operations happen when they're in flow. They make fewer errors and feel more confident. The complete flow framework. 8 essential elements. Now that you understand the science, let's break down the complete framework for achieving flow. Most people think flow just happens randomly, but research has identified 8 essential elements that create the perfect conditions. Element 1. Crystal clear goals. Not vague wishes like I'll study, but laser-focused objectives like I'll master the first 3 concepts in Chapter 7. And be able to explain them without looking at my notes. Your brain needs to know exactly what success looks like. Element 2. The challenge skills sweet spot. This is crucial. The task should be about 4% harder than your current skill level. Too easy and you're bored. Too hard and you're anxious. That 4% stretch is where the magic happens. Element 3. Immediate feedback loops. You need to see progress in real time. This could be watching your code compile successfully, seeing your word count increase, or feeling your running pace improve. Without feedback, your brain can't calibrate performance. Element 4. Deep concentration. Flow requires what researchers call uninterrupted cognitive processing. Every notification, every distraction, every interruption breaks the flow state and can take up to 23 minutes to recover from. Element 5. Present moment awareness. Flow happens when you're completely absorbed in the now. No mental time travel to past failures or future worries, just pure presence with the task at hand. Element 6. Intrinsic motivation. You're doing this because it matters to you personally, not for external rewards or to avoid punishment. The drive comes from within. Element 7. Sense of control. Not control over outcomes, but control over your actions and decisions in the moment. You feel capable and confident in your ability to handle whatever comes up. Element 8. Loss of self-consciousness. That inner critic that usually judges everything you do. In flow, it goes offline. You stop worrying about how you look or what others think and just perform. The Flow Trigger System. 9 practical steps. All right, theory is great, but let's get practical. Here's my 9-step system for triggering flow states consistently. I call it the Flow Trigger System, and I've used this with everyone from startup founders to professional athletes. Step 1. The Flow Audit. Before each session, ask yourself, what's my specific goal? Is this task challenging but achievable? How will I know I'm making progress? Do I care about this outcome? If any answer is unclear, fix it before starting. Step 2. Environmental design. Create a physical space that signals flow time. This might mean a specific desk setup, particular lighting, or even a dedicated playlist. Your environment should eliminate distractions and amplify focus. Step 3. The 90 minutes rule. Research shows our brains have natural 90 minutes attention cycles. Plan your deepest work during these windows, typically first thing in the morning when cortisol and focus chemicals are naturally highest. Step 4. Progressive challenge scaling. Start each session slightly easier than your target difficulty, then gradually increase the challenge. Think of it like warming up before a workout. You're priming your nervous system for peak performance. Step 5. The feedback accelerator. Build multiple feedback loops into your work. Set mini deadlines, use progress trackers, or work with accountability partners. The faster you get feedback, the deeper your flow becomes. Step 6. Distraction elimination protocol. This isn't just turning off your phone, it's about creating what I call cognitive firewall. Close unnecessary browser tabs, use website blockers, put your phone in airplane mode, and tell people not to interrupt you. Step 7. The flow ritual. Develop a consistent pre-flow routine that signals to your brain it's time to perform. This might be 5 minutes of deep breathing, reviewing your goals, or doing light physical movement. Make it the same every time. Step 8. Energy optimization. Flow requires significant mental energy. This means proper sleep, strategic caffeine timing, stable blood sugar, and sometimes even specific nootropics or supplements. You can't flow on empty. Step 9. Recovery planning. Schedule buffer time after flow sessions. Your brain needs to process and consolidate what happened. Jumping immediately to the next task wastes the learning and integration that happens post-flow. Flow in action. Real-world case studies. Let me show you how this looks in the real world. With some case studies from different fields. Case study 1. The programmer. Sarah is a software developer who struggled with complex coding problems. She implemented the flow system by setting specific coding goals each morning, like implement user authentication by 11 a.m. She created a distraction-free workspace with noise-canceling headphones and instrumental music. She broke large problems into smaller chunks that were challenging but manageable, and used test-driven development for immediate feedback. Result: she went from being stuck for hours to solving complex problems in focused 90-minute sessions. Case study 2. The student, Marcus, was failing organic chemistry despite studying constantly. He redesigned his study approach using flow principles. Instead of cramming for hours, he set specific learning objectives like master reaction mechanisms 1 to 5 and be able to draw them from memory. He used active recall and spaced repetition for immediate feedback, studied in 90-minute blocks during his peak energy hours, and eliminated his phone and social media during study time. His grades jumped from C's to A's within 1 semester. Case study 3. The artist, Elena, was a painter who felt blocked and uninspired. She applied flow by setting specific creative challenges, like complete 1 small painting using only 3 colors. She created a dedicated studio space free from distractions. worked during her natural creative hours in the early morning, and used time-lapse photography to track her progress. She went from creating one painting per month to completing one every few days, with significantly higher quality and personal satisfaction. Case Study 4. The Entrepreneur. David was overwhelmed running his startup, jumping between tasks without deep focus. He restructured his schedule around flow blocks 90 minutes of uninterrupted work on his most important business challenges. He batched similar tasks, eliminated unnecessary meetings, and created specific environmental cues for different types of work. His productivity doubled, and he reported feeling more in control and less stressed despite working fewer total hours. Advanced flow techniques and troubleshooting. Visuals. Advanced concepts. Problem-solving scenarios. Optimization techniques. Now let's talk about some advanced techniques and how to troubleshoot common flow problems. Advanced Technique 1. Flow stacking. Once you've mastered basic flow, you can chain multiple flow sessions together with strategic breaks. Work for 90 minutes. Take a 20-minute recovery break with light movement or meditation. Then enter another flow session. Elite performers often do 2 to 3 flow blocks per day. Advanced Technique 2. Challenge titration. This is fine-tuning the difficulty level in real time. If you notice boredom creeping in, immediately increase the challenge set a tighter deadline. Add a creative constraint or combine tasks. If anxiety rises, dial back the difficulty slightly until you find that sweet spot again. Advanced Technique 3. Flow anchoring. Create specific sensory triggers that you associate with flow states. This might be a particular scent, a specific temperature, or even a physical gesture. Over time, these anchors can help you drop into flow faster. Now, for troubleshooting common problems. Problem 1. I can't eliminate distractions. Start smaller. Even if you can't control your entire environment, create micro-environments of focus. Use noise-canceling headphones, face a wall instead of a window, or work in a library. Progress over perfection. Problem 2. The task feels too overwhelming. Break it down further. If a project feels huge, chunk it into 15-minute segments. Sometimes you need to zoom in until you find a piece that feels manageable but still challenging. Problem 3. I keep getting interrupted. Batch your availability. Set specific times when people can interrupt you and communicate these clearly. Use visual signals like headphones or a do not disturb sign. Problem 4. I lose motivation halfway through. This usually means the task isn't connected to your deeper values. Spend time clarifying why this work matters to you personally. What bigger goal does it serve? Problem 5. I can't tell if I'm making progress. Build in more frequent checkpoints. Set micro-deadlines every 20 to 30 minutes. Use visual progress indicators like checklists or progress bars. Building a flow-optimized life. Here's the big picture. Flow isn't just a productivity hack. It's a way to design a more fulfilling life. When you consistently operate in flow, you're not just more productive, you're more creative, more satisfied, and more resilient. Start by conducting a flow audit of your entire life. When do you naturally experience flow? What activities energize you versus drain you? How can you structure your days to maximize flow opportunities? Consider your energy cycles. Most people have 2 to 3 windows per day when they're capable of deep flow. Protect these times fiercely. Schedule your most important, challenging work during these windows and batch routine tasks during your lower energy periods. Design your environment for flow. This might mean negotiating for a quieter workspace, investing in better tools, or even changing your morning routine. Small environmental changes can have massive impacts on your ability to achieve flow. Build flow partnerships. Work with people who respect and support your need for deep focus. This might mean finding an accountability partner, joining a co-working space with like-minded people, or simply educating your family about when you need uninterrupted time. Track your flow experiences. Keep a simple log of when flow happens, what triggered it, and how long it lasted. Over time, you'll identify patterns and optimize your approach. Remember, the goal isn't to be in flow 100% of the time. That's neither possible nor healthy. Instead, aim to maximize flow during your most important work, while allowing time for rest, reflection, and relationships. The ultimate goal is what psychologists call eudaimonia, a life of meaning, engagement, and flourishing. Flow is one of the most reliable paths to get there. So there you have it, the complete guide to mastering cognitive flow and achieving your peak mental states. We've covered the neuroscience, the framework, the practical techniques, and the real-world applications. But knowledge without action is just entertainment. Here's your homework. Pick one technique from this video and commit to testing it for the next 7 days. Maybe it's the 90 minutes rule. Maybe it's designing a distraction-free environment. Or maybe it's simply setting clearer goals. Start small, be consistent, and pay attention to what changes. Flow is a skill, and like any skill, it improves with deliberate practice. The more you intentionally create flow conditions, the easier it becomes to drop into that zone whenever you need peak performance. If this video helped you understand flow better, smash that like button and subscribe for more science-backed performance optimization content. Hit the bell so you don't miss our upcoming videos on deep work, habit formation, and mental optimization. And I want to hear from you. Drop a comment about your biggest takeaway from this video, or share a time when you experienced flow naturally. What were you doing, and what made it so engaging? Your experiences help other viewers learn and might even inspire future videos. Thanks for investing 23 minutes in your mental performance. Now, go create some flow magic of your own. I'll see you in the next one.